Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. Spying on my cheating wife. I'm aware that this is wrong. I know that in theory, even having the ability, which I have, is wrong, I guess. But you know what? After being challenged about it, talked down to about it, I've decided duck everyone else. You online and everyone else won't deal with the aftermath or the consequences. Not your life. You can tell everyone what to do, but it won't cost you time, money, or sleep. You won't be picking up the pieces, so duck your opinions. The one thing I know, better than anything, is people are different. What's good for you may not be good for me, and there's no such thing as absolution. Saying hi, how is your day to one person may make them happy and offend another. Wrong or right doesn't come into play. We feel so damn moral. We love our moral high grounds, but looking around at the world we built, such lofty ideals are not what makes the world work. I have to eventually trust my wife enough to let go of the security blanket I built up to catch all her lies. Why do I have that security blanket? Well, without it I wouldn't know the whole damn truth. Without knowing the whole damn truth, which she wasn't going to give me, there would be no ducking reconciliation. And given that I'm not an idealist and realize that it's not, hey, from here on out, let go of this tool that has proven to work in finding the truth in a known liar. I will eventually give that shit up. I have to. It won't work if I don't. But it ain't today and it ain't soon. You don't have to like that. You don't have to agree with that. You also don't have to live my life and deal with my consequences. So I'm thinking your ducking opinion matters a lot less. But I'll admit this entire conversation triggered me something fierce, and I won't deny people have a valid point. But valid points are just weighed on the scale, and the cost-risk benefits are not outweighed here. You ain't gotta like it, but then again, you ain't gotta live my life. You got it. So many people here are so moralistic and full of rights. I really wonder if they are such perfect people. Talking is too easy. It's easy to judge others. It's easy to say what's wrong and right. I also find that a lot of women think spying on them or checking up on them, even after they have cheated, is so much worse than cheating on someone. Duck your privacy. Everyone is innocent until they get caught. Same can be said about trust, as everyone is trustworthy until you find out about their lies. Most of the women who will question you regarding monitoring actually do the same themselves. They will even say that the situation is different for men than it is for women. That being said, I tend to think of it in a simple aspect: trust but verify. As for your case, the lack of faith that your wife had towards your relationship is more than likely worse than the aspect of her infidelity. This needs to be said about people who cheat, ladies, gentlemen, and those of other equally valid and represented genders. I'm going to say this to you now: if you cheat on your spouse and you lie about it, if they catch you, if they have to go through texts and sleuthing and all that shit to figure out what you're lying, deceitful, betraying ass is up to, and for some ducking reason decide to forgive you and try work it out, shut the duck up for a good long while about privacy. The fact that you think you have it or that you deserve it in that relationship after you did what you did is laughable. If your man or woman wanna see your phone, wanna check up on you, wanna know where you've been and don't believe you, guess what? They got every ducking right. Don't like it, break up. Walk the duck away. What you should have done when you decided you wanted to risk the relationship by doing what you did. Save them from themselves. Bounce. But to expect anything like what it was before, especially in less than a year's time. Are you ducking stupid? Bro, sis, everything in between along with non-binary, sit down, shut the duck up, and thank your lucky stars your spouse is dumb enough to give you a second chance you don't ducking deserve. If it ain't what you want, leave, but miss me with this privacy bullshit. Miss me with this feeling bad your lying ass ain't trusted or folks would go through alarming lengths to check up on you. Guess what? People who get caught are better at not getting caught the next time. So, you think your spouse should be less or more vigilant? Especially given the fact that once a cheater always a cheater is kinda true. You need to slow your roll. No one gives a duck about your sensibilities in this case. You don't like it? Go be with the person that was more important to you than you're so important enough for you to betray them in the most heinous way and risk destroying the relationship. I think anything less than dumping your ass and never speaking to you again is a blessing you should be thankful for. Just my opinion. This doubly goes out to people who ain't been cheated on and want to react to the behaviors of people who have. Shut the duck up. You ain't in their situation and you ain't trying to reconcile with what they are dealing with. When it happens to you and you try to reconcile, which of course you probably wouldn't, I want you to just jump to trusting them completely again after a year. Yeah, I doubt it. Amen. Well, Ducking said. I will copy and paste this post every time I need to. Is this okay? Go right ahead. Couldn't agree more. I don't look for trouble, but if I'm checking your phone and email I was given a reason to do so. Wow, all the posts and rants looking for validation after you took the doormat route. So funny lol. You should rename all your posts as the Chronicles of Simperi X the Doormat God. Shit I should be thankful for. I'm not bragging here. This is not what this is about. This is me trying to convince myself that feeling sorry for myself or feeling bad about my struggles, or the horrible things I went through aren't everything that define me. That I can in no way say I had a bad life. I have job with damn near infinite job security. Few do. I gotta feel blessed by that. I make more money doing what I love and what I thought I'd do it for than some folks who spent 8 years in college to be doctors and shit. My humbleness is the only reason I ain't laughing at you. But don't think I'm not aware of that little irony. More people's lives have been better for having known me than most people can claim. I literally put someone through college and watch them flourish into someone who positively affects the lives of other people. One of the greatest things I've ever done. Happy about it. I got the superficials. Nice house. Nice car. Full tank of gas, and I drive to the store to get my food every day because if I buy in bulk I'll just eat it up. So, I'm aware I can afford in this climate to drive to Harris Teeter every day, 3 times a day, for every damn meal, and I ain't complaining about gas. Things on my bucket list I've achieved before 30. Live in Japan for a summer. Visit every continent. Been to France, been to Namibia, been to Korea, Japan, and Thailand. Been to Brazil. Been to Sydney. And a whole host of other things. I have had at least 500,000 in my bank account at one time. I've never made $1 million in a year, but I've gotten near 360,000 in a year. $1 million in a bank account is still on my bucket list. Oh yeah, for anyone who might ask. I ain't worried about my money cause I was smart enough to get a damn prenup. Surfed in Hawaii. Hurt myself. Explored underwater cave. Was terrifying, never again. Hang glided. Also terrifying. Also never again. I've swam with dolphins. That was fun. I've indoor skydived but never outdoor. Don't think I will. I've never climbed a mountain, but I want to. I've snowboarded, that didn't end well. Neither did skiing. I got to play with a monkey and pet a red panda. The latter a highlight of my life. I've met most of my idols. I met Hyung Tae Kim very briefly. Well, met is subjective, it was a hi and bye. I met Shigeru Miyamoto, shook his hand. I met Sting on several occasions, but alas, never saw the Police in concert. Got to hang out with Fall Out Boy backstage, and met Gil Scott-Heron before he died. Unfortunately I never got to meet Reggie White and still have yet to get Donald Driver to sign a jersey. I have 18 signed jerseys, but I only want ones I got signed. I don't buy pre-signed jerseys, it's the experience. I've been to an NBA Finals game, but not a Super Bowl. Though I was at an NFL playoff game. I have season tickets to a sports team, though I don't use them often for myself as I'm no longer in Milwaukee. I've planted trees. And got to see the baby turtles in action, but I also got bit by something on that trip and my foot swole up. Wasn't a turtle. I have ridden a horse. I have owned a horse. I have sold a horse. Horse are awful. They stank and they are assholes. I've been in a threesome. I've had portrait painted of me. I've had a family sword made. Cost me $6,000. I've visited the resting place of my ancestors. I've gotten involved in activism and I even volunteered. A lot. Worked with both CFFC, Mercy Memorial, and have coached, refereed, and funded some children's sports leagues. This is mostly because of my nephews, but I think it counts and makes me feel better. My only condition was my team be the Brewers. I learned to shoot. I bought the 4 guns that I always wanted as a kid. Original CZ75 cores of Gunsmith Cats. Walter PPK cores of James Bond. I don't yet own a .50 caliber rifle, but I want one. Just haven't got around to it. Oh, I have a bachelor's and an associate's degree. Though honestly I use neither and think that college was a waste of time and money. I've been on TV multiple times. I was on a game show when I was a kid. I did an interview as part of a volunteer force. And was part of another thing when they were doing a piece on furries at Anthrocon one year. I didn't know I was gonna be part of that. I met President Obama twice. President Bush once, and quite a few politicians in Milwaukee. All of whom are not important enough to mention. Though I will say former Senator Herb Kohl is a charming man. I'm published several comics, and not all of the pornographic variety. And was part of a design team that worked on something that won an award. I won't elaborate cause I don't want you to know who I be. I've built homes for the homeless. Was awful but rewarding. I stepped on 2 nails. I've delivered a baby cow. And I've shot a man. He lived. I was very young. No police were involved. I sprained my wrist. I've even bought a bully's childhood home just to destroy it and sell it. I shouldn't be proud of that one, but I am. I bought my wife her dream house. I am still proud of that. But I'm even more proud that my man cave has a library full of fantasy books, retro video games, and figures. I worked in the gaming industry and have been a part of several games. Not just porn games either. Though I have worked on a few. I worked on a children's book, 2 of them. Which is why my artwork and styles had 2 personas that will never meet. I have had sex on a train. On a plane. Underwater. In a commentary. Not in a church. At school. At university. In a car. In a mall. On the beach. On a mountain. In the Wolf Lodge on the mountain. A baseball game, almost got caught, back when it was Miller Stadium. Not on a boat yet. But have in the office many times, and once in a horse-drawn carriage. I grew up with both my parents. They are both good successful black professionals who love each other dearly, to an almost disgusting degree. I've never been in prison. I've been arrested. But for bullshit. Nothing serious, and sadly nothing I actually did. I've played in the stock market and won. Several times. Now I can't take credit for this, as I'm not the one investing my money, but I will say that I'm grateful. I benefit, so it's still a win, even if I still have no idea how that shit works. Anyway, I look at my life sometimes and feel like woe is me. But I've had a good life. I have been blessed. Sometimes it's hard to think about that while you're in the thick of trials and problems. So, I wrote this here to remind myself that I ain't suffering. I ain't losing. I'm just hurting, and everyone hurts, many more than I. Just, maybe remind myself my life ain't so bad despite everything that happened to me. It's always good to look at your accomplishments. What was Barack Obama like in person? Also, I've even bought a bully's childhood home just to destroy it and sell it. Dude, you are living the dream. Smile. Awesome. He remembered me. I met him once in Chicago before he ran for president. And once after at an event. He didn't know my name or anything, but he remembered me giving him shit about the Bears in '07, this was just after he announced his candidacy. He was a lot more accessible then and I was volunteering in Springfield. I met him again in 2009. Update: what's eating me? I feel powerless. People will say I have my own problems to deal with and that I cannot solve others. And I do. Boy do I. I've been fighting depression over several factors, and though my wife is doing better, things are better, the baby is stressed, and things are stressful there, but aren't my most immediate problem. It's a shit show. It's a real shit show and I don't know where to begin. My niece Brianna was caught kissing her girlfriend by her girlfriend's father, who forced her to leave and told her never to come back. She says he was rough with her and her ex didn't come to school for a week after that. When she returned, she was obviously recovering from abuse. The extent of the bruising was never explained to me, but the girl had a broken hand. My niece confronted the father despite being told not to by everybody and he slapped her, dislocated her jaw. And that started a spiral of violence that had my uncle in jail, my niece incredibly unhappy, and all manner of a shit show going on. I do not have first-hand knowledge. I want to go home but am being told to stay here and deal with my pregnant wife. This situation began over a month ago and there is no real end in sight. They're not talking to me about the legal stuff and I'm getting hints that what happened was worse than anyone is telling me because people are afraid I will do something crazy. My father says he is handling it. My uncle is out on bail and there's a lot of legal crap going on, but also some petty bullshit cause the girl's mother left the father and the father's family has been harassing my niece and family. Though the latter can't be proven. But had pig's blood thrown in our pool and on the side of the house by masked individuals. They are on camera, but they can't prove it's them. My niece has not been well as the whole thing has turned her school life upside down and her ex has been out of school. Her friends are apparently shunning her because the ex was to do something for the school and couldn't, which ruined everyone's end of school year. I don't know, that's not properly explained to me. But they're blaming her for drama and life's not been good. She's just happy the school year is finally over, but doesn't want to go back to the same school now. Worst is this exposed her sexuality to her mother who is also not taking that well. Worse than anyone ever expected and there have been fights about it. She asked to come down and spend summer with me which I agreed to, but her parents won't let her. My parents say I need to focus on my pregnant wife. Which I do, but my baby ups their suffering. Meanwhile I'm going through my own shit. Like racist shit has gotten bad and I miss not having to deal with people in person. I'm having second thoughts about bringing a child, especially a mixed child into this world. Like, I don't even have enough room to explain some of the weird shit I've dealt with. The country is a whole lot more racist than I ever thought and it's fucking disheartening. Meanwhile so many people are trying to pretend it's not, or that people are just sensitive or lying. Meanwhile, having someone whites plan away how they don't want to hire an Asian consultant on a project that borrows heavily from Asian culture, to not offend people was called race baiting. That I was making the white people in the group racially uncomfortable because I insisted we needed to be mindful of the stereotypical and frankly racially offensive way they were doing their alien race. Think Chinese people / space communist who eat the daughters at birth cause they need male warriors instead. It is so obviously like a xenophobic anti-Chinese fever dream, but I'm being treated like I'm shaking the crowd by pointing out this is gonna offend a lot of people. Meanwhile, struggling between lapses of resolve and resentment are brutal. You never forget. My wife's doing fine, can't do much more right now. Is as loving and supporting as you can be as a pregnant woman and instead of making me feel better it scares me. Are you improving or did your situation change? Do you need to be better cause now you don't wanna be a divorced or single mom, or are you changing for me? Literally nothing in my house is about me. I can't even peep up about what I'm going through or still going through because of the pregnancy and it's frustrating. I literally had my mother tell me that it's time to get over it. I got a kid on the way that has to be my primary focus. And I get it. But that doesn't mean I'm not having these thoughts. Gained back weight stressing over all this and eating away my depression back up to 248 when I was down to 220. Tried getting back to the gym but my heart wasn't in it this time. Feels a whole lot more painful. Business has been good, but I'm not happy with it. And with everything going on I'm questioning the responsibility of raising a child in this world or my ability to do it. I'm just not sure about much of anything anymore and I feel more powerless than ever. I'm sad to see that Brianna's stuff blew up like this. I hope this doesn't affect her much while growing up. And her mother is being terrible at parenting by being against it. The more she complains the more firm Brianna will get to it. So yeah. Unnecessary. And I can't even imagine how frustrating and infuriating it must be that people are using your wife's pregnancy as an excuse to invalidate and shut all your worries down. Simply ridiculous. I wish I could say or do something to ease your pain but alas can just be here to give a virtual shoulder and ear to listen read you. Wishing you well man. Was up unfettered. It seems to me like the Brianna issue is the major one and I know how much it sucks, because you really can't help. I'd recommend trying to be there in spirit as much as possible. Her ex's dad is a real piece of work, but you may have to let life sort him out. The concerns about your upcoming child are actually quite normal. Almost every new parent experiences those feelings. I think of it as coming to accept that you and your wife's lives are no longer about you and your wife. So maybe call Brianna once or twice a week to check up on her, and don't be afraid to discuss these things with your wife. I'm sure she's experiencing the same type of fears. You've got this. I don't know Brianna except through you and my heart breaks for her. Since the family won't let her visit, do something my daddy did that lifted my spirits. Send off the wall cards to her. Funny ones. To make it special, you, of course, design the cards for her. Maybe make the cards into a storyline so she had something to look forward to, but never knows when one may show up in the mail. You get to create for her, take your mind off stuff for a little while. You're not creating to fulfill someone else's BS, and you make her happy too. Just an idea. Focus on what you can control. That's you. Fix your eating. Get back to the gym. Take out your stress and frustration on some weights, not your stomach. You know where the doom spiral leads if you don't climb out. I'm not saying to not worry. Just focus your energy worrying about stuff that you can actually do something about. Wow, that really is a lot going on. I am standing with you in a tiny way, a consciousness on the other side of the world who cares. I hope that you can get motivated to look after yourself now. Sounds like you could do with talking about a lot of things before the baby gets born. I wish you had a wise, non-judgmental mentor. We hope you have enjoyed this episode. Please help us grow, hit that like button. Have a good day or night. Wherever you are.